And as we learn more about El Salvador's prison system, more Democrats are traveling there to call for the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, making that case that fixing his mistaken removal to El Salvador is a matter of due process. Yesterday, I spoke with Congressman Robert Garcia, who was among the Democratic lawmakers who traveled to El Salvador. I began by asking him about what he felt like he accomplished with this trip.
Look, I think what's really first important is that we know right now that we have a Supreme Court that's voted 9-0 to ensure that Kilmar is sent back to the United States. The Trump administration has been clear that they have no intention of doing that. They've also knowingly admitted they sent him there on accident, and now that is being defied, which is incredibly serious for due process in this country. Well, we took a group of House Democrats. We asked for an official codel from House Republicans. On the House side, you have to get permission from the majority. They refused to do so, to grant a congressional delegation. And so we just had to go ourselves. It's important for us to continue to go. What Senator Van Hollen did was absolutely the right thing. We won't also be the last group. There'll be more House Democrats that will go. We met with the U.S. Embassy there and the ambassador on the ground, had a classified briefing, got a lot of important information. We made continued demands for Kilmar's release. We also asked about other folks that are there wrongly in prison, like Andrea Romero, who's an LGBTQ asylum seeker, and others. We also met with Kilmar's and talked with Kilmar's family and a lot of organizers and advocates that are also in El Salvador working on Kilmar's release. And so a lot of good progress, but the work isn't done until Kilmar is back home and Donald Trump follows the Supreme Court.
You mentioned your meeting with the ambassador. I know much of what you talked about was classified, but did you get any sense that the administration, the Trump administration, I mean, is making any effort to secure Abrego Garcia's release?
No, and in fact, it was pretty clear. What I can say, it was pretty clear that the U.S. Embassy has no indication and has received no direction to begin facilitating that return. And so that's incredibly concerning when the Supreme Court has been clear that the facilitation of the return needs to happen. And the embassy has not received that indication. And we got that information directly from them on the ground. Yeah. What we were able to secure is there's a second case of Andrea Romero, who's the asylum seeker, LGBTQ, who's wrongly been sent to this prison, having an appointment that we gave him through our asylum process. The embassy did, for the first time, acknowledge this individual and actually request that we get a health and wellness check on him. And so that's the first time that's happened. We hope to hear about that in the next day or two.
Now, throughout the trip, we saw you and your colleagues going to social media, you did a lot of TV interviews, and your critics are saying this was just about political posturing. How would you respond to that?
Oh, look, there's the number one issue that folks in my office back home are calling me about is this one. And in the last 2 weeks, we have heard more about this case, the attack on democracy, the defiance of the Supreme Court, than any other issue that's come into our office. It's incredibly important to the people back home and people across the country. It's important that we have to build support in El Salvador. Right now, we met with human rights activists, with advocates, with people in the faith community that are building support to release Kilmar and others who have been wrongly imprisoned illegally in El Salvador. And remember, they understand that this is bigger than just immigration. This is a due process issue in the United States. In the United States of America, everyone has a right to due process, whether you are a citizen or you are a non-citizen, whether you are in a student visa, you still have that right. And that is being stripped away from people right now because of the Trump administration.
I want to put up what Speaker Johnson had to say about your trip. He said, quote, "Today, House Democrats traveled to El Salvador as part of their obsession to bring a violent illegal alien and member of MS-13 back into the United States. Could the contrast be more clear?" he wrote. "House Republicans remain committed to doing everything we can to protect American families and keep dangerous gang members out of our country. We should point out there is no direct evidence that Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13. But Republicans have been working very hard to try and show, or at least create an optic, that you're working on behalf of a suspected gang member. Are you at all concerned about the political optics here?"
I think I'm not, because it's important that at the end of the day, we're working in the truth and on facts. Mike Johnson basically now is just a mouthpiece for Donald Trump. And if he wants to repeat Donald Trump's lies, he can continue to do so. But the truth is that there's no evidence that he was in that gang. He was sent there wrongly. The Trump administration has already admitted to that. And so we can't hide away because we think something is bad politics, or because we can't be debating multiple things at once. We should be able to forcefully demand that Kilmar is returned, that people get due process in this country, that they're not sent in an asylum process to foreign prisons in El Salvador, and at the same time advocate for Social Security, for no cuts to Medicare, so that Elon Musk isn't raiding the federal treasury. So we should be able to talk about all of these things. And Mike Johnson, unfortunately, now has no issue with essentially lying like Donald Trump does, and it's really sad to see.
Now, the public didn't buy the Democrats' arguments on democracy in the 2024 election. That was a big push that your party used in the 2024 election. Donald Trump still won, and during that election, he pledged to deport undocumented immigrants. Do you think that this is a political winner for you, and how do you make it a political winner?
Well, there's also been recent polling just a few days ago that over 60% of Americans don't believe that we should be sending undocumented people to foreign prisons. And so I think we've got to be able to explain this issue to the American public in the most simplest terms, which is this is Donald Trump defying Supreme Court Order 9-0. This is not just an immigration debate. This is a debate, broader debate about due process. Everyone in our country deserves a right to a lawyer, to a fair trial in court. And our laws are clear. Whether you're a citizen, whether you're an immigrant, whether you're here on a student visa, whether you're protesting something that you believe in, if you are arrested, you have a right to a judicial process that is fair. That is now being denied to people in this country. And I think all Americans should be concerned about that.
Okay, Congressman Garcia, just back from El Salvador. Congressman, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.